the power that goes, it would be about just under $1 million, but the cost is to them, to install it. We have an Eagles Nest camera, apparently Eagles and cell networks don't work too well together, so we don't want that. But I mean,
I don't know, they get their money back.
Yeah.
Because they don't put a lot of things on it.
Yeah.
Same business, right?
So when you say the approval list, so at least.
In substantial form.
In substantial form, Savannah and I didn't write these. You can see they were prepared by counsel for PeakNet. So we just want to make sure that from our perspective, the district's required provisions are included. Often private counsel does not know what governments have to have in their contracts.
Yep.
And then we also need to make sure that bond counsel can affirm that this does not violate any of your trust indentures.
Brownlee's agreement. Keep that LLC, save the form for that.
Second from Supervisor Winker. All in favor?
I.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bear with me. All right.
I see what you can find.
Yeah.
It's definitely pretty far down the path, but I don't know if there is. I didn't look at all for a number 2. It took so long with number 1. Maybe the other project.
More updates coming soon. Okay, jumping into item B, we have the discussion of Solterra Resorts reoccurring open house events for homeowners.
Yes.
Gonna.
I don't know. Thank you. See you. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch
Take round.
through Joe.
Ryan.
The committee meeting.
You can go.
Yep, I'm gonna pass it over to Supervisor Winker. She has brought this item for discussion and she's gonna fill the board in on her thoughts.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, not at all. No, we're good. We're discussing the reoccurring open house events for homeowners. Supervisor Winker has presented this and wanted to share some information with the board. This is the email that you sent. I think you wanted to do a group for the real estate agents.
Yeah, so, roughly, and actually in excess, 10% of the homes here in Solterra are for sale. In excess of 10%. So, that means that we are representing 10% of the home sphere, the homeowner sphere. There's still homeowners here who are trying to household and for the better, the entire community, we would like them to get the best possible price, which means that we haven't had the best possible exposure. And presently, we have a policy that prohibits signage, which I agree with. We don't want the whole community littered with every kind of company signage and showing off the fact that we have 10% of the homes for sale. I think that we do need to also recognize that most of our home buyers, not most of them, but a good percentage of our home buyers are people who are guests here. In every other community, like Reunion has Reunion Realty, which is not owned by Reunion, but they lease out space in the room to a real estate company that facilitates sales, and predominantly most of the sales in the evening come from that place. There's a real benefit for homeowners and future homeowners who are guests in the community to have something like, have kind of free flowing bit of information. So this clubhouse is a good source for, for us to be able to let people know that there's, there's a possibility to buy and sell real estate here, that these homes aren't just for rent, but they're also for sale. And also perhaps instead of individual realtors, and we tried this out with the last management company, they sort of approved it, but then there were things that it was kind of jaunty, right? And there was a sign that I came up with that we agreed to not be on premises, but would be in the surrounding community. And the gate was to provide me with the consortium. Every real estate agent that has a listing here was invited to participate. So it's not something I'm doing for myself, it's something for everyone. So if your realtor wants to hold an open house, maybe once every couple of months, we have like, spring into Solterra, some sort of Solterra open house event, right? Solterra, where we're inviting people, they come to the gate. It's up to the realtors to advertise it. They can advertise it on, on Zillow, they can advertise it wherever they want to advertise it. People that come to the gate, at the gate, they're given a map of all of the homes that are in, just a small little word characterizing the price of the homes that are participating. You may have 20 homes out of the 130 homes that are for sale, where realtors are willing to participate in it. But out of those 20 homes, it's great. It gets people into the community, see what's going on, and to possibly be interested in buying real estate here. I think it's just a best practices thing to do where we have our set signs. We moved away, had approved having balloons in front of the houses that are participating at the time. The fall down was, we had a great response from realtors when we did it. The fall down was the gate is misinformed. And we're not, they were not informed at all. They were to hand out these maps. So people came to attend this thing and they were basically given blank statements.
No material. Okay.
They weren't given anything. They didn't know where to go. They didn't, because we didn't want signs littering the boulevard. They just came here and they were turned around on the gate.
Okay.
So it needs to be something now that we have HOA and CDD, being managed by the same person. And maybe we can put something together that's more cohesive. I just think it's like.
My comments on this, I love this idea. I ran it by Chris, Thanks, and Devin. They were not thrilled. They didn't like the idea that lots more people would be coming in, there would be parking on the streets, that our rule of nothing in front of the house would be broken even for a day. And they said, also they didn't like that everyone would then know, even the guests, which houses are for sale and possibly empty. And that was their pushback to me. I still like the idea of helping facilitate that. And I think it's something that should happen. And it does involve them a little bit, as it would involve possible signage. But I think if we could maybe put together a proposal on, this is exactly what it would entail, and maybe discuss on the next town hall. If the HOA is there, then that could be something like, I think it's a good thing to move forward with.
So I don't care for the sign thing, however, security can definitely, people pull in, they say they're here for open house, if they know about it, they can definitely hand them little shirts like you do the parking. I'm sure you should say, do not park in the street, because we have no on-street parking, we don't want cause any one issues.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that, kind of curb one of the thoughts of, hey, we're gonna have people parked all over, no, please park in driveway, like everyone else does, and we're not gonna have realistically, I mean, you're a realtor, you're not gonna have 40 people show up at 1 minute at the same time.
Yeah, you won't have 40 people show up at the same minute, but you might have 3 or 4. And if you have 3 or 4 and you've got parking for 2, that presents an issue. And if they're told you have to park in the driveway, they might park in somebody else's driveway.
Sure.
It's not something that we will either. Now, I will say that during the day, on any given day, you have pool people, pool vendors, you have people who are housekeepers, maintenance people, management companies, especially on Oak Shadow, who are just parking in the street. So we have that anyway during the day, and we really don't tow during the day. And this
Both of these, for the record, both of these removing cars.
during the day, this would be for you know, like a 3 hour maximum, 4 hour window. That's it. And it would be an exception. It's an exception to the.
Yeah, we'll be starting.
Bolton Stone, and saying, you know, we're gonna be open house today for 4 hours. As a board, we decide which not for you to do so. That's those 4 hours from 1 P.M. to 4 P.M. That we're not gonna remove vehicles off of the roadway now here for the open house. And I think that would be fair for the buyer. We have 181 houses going on. For sale in Solterra. I may be up and down, but I mean, obviously, I own a home here. My fellow supervisors doing homes here. When we decide that, you know, we want to sell a house in the future and everyone else sells their houses, we want that value to be fair.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think by making some exceptions, to, you know, some, I want to say mundane rules, but they are, you know, where.
You can suspend, you can direct your towing vendor
Yes.
to suspend towing for good cause.
So I
Is this good cause by the board?
that helps move our real estate here. Our security staff assisting by saying, hey, you know, obviously they're not gonna advertise anything, but when someone rolls up and says, hey, I'm here for the open house, it's easy for us to provide them a flyer, but that's given to us by a realtor or by that party that's doing open house at no cost to the district. And we're taking staff, hey, here's a flyer, you go to your open house, make sure you're not obstructing them. If you park on the street, cool, we're not gonna tow that day from 1 to 4. And that's something the board, we can facilitate easily. It doesn't take an act of Congress, we can make it work. And just get all the realtors on board, we can make it easier for everyone, and hopefully, you know, the people that wanna sell, and we get occupied tax-paying homes.
How frequently would you think of schedule this, monthly for 1 day, monthly for 2 days?
I would actually do it, I would do a test. And, before we commit to doing this over any period of time, let's do it one time. Let's see how it works, what issues, you know. There are gonna be realtors who are gonna throw out their own Century 21 signs, not to pick up Century 21, but, you know, whatever company it is, we're gonna wanna throw out their signs and we're gonna, you know, slap their wrists. So we're gonna have to figure out where the issues are lying, what we're having problems with, and if we want to do it again. If we do it again, you know, we decide, hey, this works, I would say, you know, let's try it out once, you know, either once a quarter or once every 2 months. And we can take it from there, see how successful it is. See what it, you know, what it brings us, good, bad, or indifferent.
Sure.
But
So next steps, we'll have Supervisor Winker work with staff on putting together, you know, the idea, the flyers that will go out, kind of the operation. And then, Yep.
Next meeting.
Yep.
Approve with the board.
Yep.
I'm well in supporting, you know, I'm street parking for that 4 hour period, 5 hour period, whether she believes that it's needed for the open houses, I'm not really interpreting the flip. So I say 4 hours, but realistically, I don't, you guys.
that's part
We'll work on the logistics.
It's good.
No.
Do they have any cookies? They can free cookies. I'm gonna have to stop by.
181.
usually that's the problem.
181 cookies.
A lot of big things.
I do love
Immediate stuff.
So yeah, we'll work on the logistics and then we should be able to bring the board what our plan is.
Yeah.
I think if you could have the framework of what you want, and I'd love if you could share that on the town.
Yeah.
And say, here's what we're looking at, here's the rules, this. I think freestanding signs only out front could be an option, nothing in the ground, but they
I think
can.
that would be the easier way.
We can talk about
I put it on district property in the right of way,
in the street.
in the grassy right of ways.
Okay.
I have a district that does this.
Okay.
And what we have is a signage policy, so our participating realtors are permitted to install temporary, you know, very temporary couple of hours of signage in any adjacent grassy right of way area that's owned by the district.
Which that.
That's the sign.
Right, so I mean, it's really brief and they sign up. I have a sign, like form, even at that other district, so they don't know what address they're gonna be at, how long they're going to be there. They submit it to amenity management who is on site. Makes it
So
easy.
that's the exact sign that I used last time.
We're like, it's generic, it says we're having open houses, it doesn't,
It doesn't list a real.
push everything about individual business owners.
Exactly, that's the one that I sent to you. I have, I don't know, I think 20 of them printed up, and not one of them was in the community, they were all from Publix.
Oh,
Ernest Caldwell to over here, 11 of them disappeared.
My take would be, I would want to see a well-organized event
Right.
that had some sort of theme, like cookie tour, where every house has a different type of cookie. Or something like that, where the realtors all understand how it works. They can share it with who they want, and everyone would come into Solterra during a 3 to 4 hour period of time.
And that's what we do.
Yeah,
And the way that, the free way that realtors, just to kind of give you all a sneak peek into how our business works. On the MLS, we have a place where we input, whether it's a live open house or a virtual open house, or what kind of open house it is. And then we also put in there any comments about food, water, drinks, beverages, that kind of thing. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, they all pull from the MLS and auto-populate. So when people do a search on Zillow and they say open houses only, it will come up that there are open houses here. When people see, oh, there are going to be, 10 open houses in Solterra, they'll be like, you know what, we can hit 10 open houses at once,
Sure.
instead of having to, go
Yeah.
from here to there, to there, to there. And that will, if we consolidate them into one day,
yeah, sure.
I don't want to do it over 2 days because it has to be a weekend and I don't want to stress out the community.
but if you can put down bullet points, work with Joe, share with him, and then we'll talk about it on
October.
the next town hall.
Oh, Tom.
And run it by everyone, and then we can solidify after we get community feedback.
And we can put flyers here so that when people check in or they come in, they can see.
I love coordinating with the HOA in that way. That's why they have a room here. So they have space. It's one.
Yes.
The main thing about Solterra, you know,
Mhm.
so everyone should be, looking. But you really want like 10 bedroom, or, you might, I don't know, but you might have some 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom houses listed too. So depending on whether you're a huge family, small family, at least you can come in, take a look, it's easy, you gotta have a big experience when you go in, the security's gonna know about it. They're gonna give you the fly, be professional, and send you on your way. And, I mean, I think it'd be a great event, and it's a great publicity for us, and, maybe we'll get some new homeowners, short-term rental companies or something, and
Yeah.
move our community on these. Empty houses don't do any good for us.
That's right.
Our best customers are going to be the people who are guests here and who are enjoying their stay.
Mhm.
So that's, I think it's.
It's another marketing incentive. Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're doing the efforts. Great discussions. We will, we'll present at the town hall meeting and then look out for further updates in October. Okay, anything else to add, Supervisor Winfrey, on this matter?
That's it. I'm open to whatever public may, so looking forward to the.
Let's make it happen. All right. Moving on to item C, your consideration behind tab 10. There's one proposal on the agenda behind tab 10, and then you have a printed out proposal for sales exercise systems next to your handouts there. So the price comparison for those two, JJ came in at 34K for some rubber mats and exercise at 13.9K. I know the general manager also has a third quote, I believe, for this.
Yes, we actually have 3 total, and 2 of them, again, obviously, based on expense, what we guys before, however you want to do it. Sales proposal, so exercise systems, your current, preventative maintenance vendor, they actually submitted 2 quotes here, so you have one for $9,498, that is for the rolled, rubber flooring, that includes all of the labor, basically taking out the carpet, putting it rolled in, moving equipment in and out. Because obviously the department's experiencing stain at this moment. That being said, the rolled rubber, they're only option to that. It's that water from the floor, it's actually pretty simple. So the second quote for the $13,886, that's the modular tiles. They have grip, they don't sell like that, and obviously the time is damaged, you can hang it up, twice in one more, because it's much more functional. I didn't really see J and J as a peer to them, because the price difference is so much like a third quote, which is Orlando Flooring Gurus. So, offered two, one which was, extremely expensive, and then the other one, which is, again, is kind of a rubber roll, so, again, you have three quotes that are roll, and then one with actually what is suggested as kind of the better tile option is about 13.
I like the tile idea because, as you said, something happens, there's an accident, there's a tear, you just pick up my tile and you swap it out. The only thing that I will say with regard to this rubber mat flooring is that, I had a client, very high-end client, pulled up the carpet and put in this very expensive stuff rubber matting. And it's down to high heaven. It was in there for a year. I mean, you couldn't even walk in there without being asphyxiated. And I know, Albert, you spend a lot of time in the gym. That's not something that you want to do while you're huffing and puffing and you're inhaling like rubber fumes. So I'm guessing that there are some, and I had to pull the whole thing out, put the carpet back in. So I don't know if there, if any of these, but I would do the smell test.
Yeah.
Before we, lock into anything like that.
I have rubber floors in my garage. The whole thing is, you try here. This one was away after about a week. It's like rubber, like a new car.
Yeah.
It depends, his did not.
I would say that if you do the rubber rolls 3/8 or above, there's a thickness and it gets thinner and you can't, when you're walking around it hurts a little bit more. So I did a bunch of research on what's the minimum that most gyms use, and 3/8 was good. They have some that are speckled versus black. I got the black ones because they were cheaper. Man, it looks dirty all day long. Every little piece of dust or lint, I'm like, I'm not gonna go back to me again. So I definitely get the speckled one, which are a little bit more. The tile ones are awesome because if you move a machine, I have a couple places where it's like, and it takes a little chunk out of it. And the only way to replace that is take a whole slice out and redo it in there. So, I don't know, I'd be interested to know a little bit more about the tile one, which does have a nice effect on being able to replace a single one with there, but I do know there's different types of rubber. There's some that are like this soft stuff that when the machines are on, it just rips kind of right through it in a short period of time. If it's not the heavy duty, the real thick, like the gym floor rubber.
Is it possible for us to get a sample of that company come in and show us, hey, this is what we're pushing, this is what you guys are gonna get, and you spend all that, 33,000 is a lot of money for that small floor. Yeah, if we look at that, I'm not saying I think I'm gonna go select, but just, hey, obviously that flood has to get replaced. If you take some type of action, well, in the budget, which I believe we have that fund.
So you have, as of May, and I don't think that you've done anything to this line item, you have capital improvements in your general fund, you budgeted 196, as of May, you would spend 17,000. So you'd be able to utilize that line.
Yeah, or so, you get the samples from next week and have, that provided if they're available, come in, show it to us, say, hey, this is the product we're gonna install, this is what we want to give you guys, there's our warranty, here's what we're seeing in the use. Versus just kind of looking at a picture, because I don't know much about it.
But I do think they brought up a good point, which is the water on the rubber. It does kind of sit there for a while. And so if you've got a high trafficked area coming through during a time when it is raining, when everyone's shoes are wet, you'll have a nice big line going through there. So we need to figure out some sort of solution in terms of that entryway with expected water usage.
Right.
When it rains, that the bottom of people's shoes will be wet as they're walking in. Or have towels down or something. I don't know. We need to figure out that.
Are there vents that we can just roll out there while it's raining?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll get you samples. I'll get them with multiple colors because obviously there's the theme to keep in mind, right? Like the colors you guys want to go with. So I'll get you samples of that. And unfortunately, because you guys have kind of done away with amenity services and we've got the maintenance contract we brought in full-time janitorial, what we've started doing is implementing using them to go in. Every hour on we're wiping down the yoga mats, make sure those are clean, wiping up the machines. And we could incorporate that to and making sure there's no water, and making sure that any, black grease that do get dust don't look gross, and have footprints all over it, so we could have.
Can we narrow the field down, like, we've got this, $34,000 bid, that it's for something that's rolled out. I think one thing that, you kind of recognize is that when you have an injury to damage to one particular part, we don't want to have to replace the whole day section. So can we just kind of tell it down to, going back and getting the samples from companies, there's more than one company that does the tiles. And see what that, there's.
People that want to get the tiles.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
So the tiles have, the other side of the tiles is, as stuff is moving, they can break, you have way more seams that are something that can get caught or stepped on or start to wear down.
Yeah, so if we can get more,
What would you say, Albert? Tile,
Tiles,
the rubber,
but you want to get professional, not just have estimated, but professional.
heavy duty.
Yeah.
Can't-
It ain't gonna last more than 6 months.
Yeah, I think with JJ Sim for a company, it shows the tiles, it's each only a foot long, and it has a blue option. So, I mean, that's definitely something I'd like,
Yeah.
I'm obviously not decorating, but we like blue areas.
yeah,
Maybe
maybe
we-
speckles or orange.
Yeah,
Something.
Yeah, we'll get some samples.
Yes, so then,
And then we'll add to the agenda.
you guys can pull up the tiles, and what I'll do is I'll share, I'll get 3 more kind of tile bids and next samples from each. And then obviously they're available, they can come in and
Oh,
talk.
I would hope this high, $34,000.
Well, definitely that, I'm talking more just, they're pointed like 14 per tile, I just want to make sure that's obviously.
Yeah, but there are different qualities of this, and I've been to plenty of gyms where you see rips and holes and stuff all over, versus other ones where it's solid and compact and good to go.
Does the board want to have the vendor present? Because I know sometimes that's a little timely, or do we want to just gather proposals and get some?
I'm personally gonna work on the presentation of it, I wanna see it.
Okay.
I want to actually see this product, if we're gonna spend $34,000 of taxpayer money, I wanna see what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
I like this come in because it could look great on here, we could look at the flow, go, that's amazing, we love it. And that thing could be,
Sure.
that thing, it could be trash, and we talk about replacing 2 months from
That's
now.
exactly right.
No, we want to see it, we want to feel
I
it.
want to step, I want actual tiles that thing would go step on and see what that looks like.
Sure, okay. So we'll work on that, and we'll bring this back for the agenda in October.
And then with that one, I would probably put in a little extra cushion, maybe like 5%, 10% extra, that we can stash in a drawer somewhere if one does get ruined. We don't have to go and hunt them down, try to get something approved,
I like that.
just something.
We have very little store. That is trying to store those tiles with, especially on.
Maybe like 2%.
Is gonna be tough.
And we can do something where we have like a dumbbell mat where you're standing and stuff, we have that, we just create a separate space for all of the yoga rack. And just, add it there or something. That's
Maybe, and maybe we don't need to, if they're local and they know what it is, what happens is a lot of times they'll be like, this is no longer used. and
Right.
new version, now we have different looking squares.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, that would be great.
Or we can just keep it in gram size.
yeah. More to come. Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Jump into tab 11. You have a consideration of replacement of pond 17 outfall repair recommended by our aquatics. To replace the dislocated grates on the outfall structure of pond 17 by pulling it into place via winch, for $400. Typical should be a maintenance,
Get rid of glass. Why is this great to wall?
somebody could have messed with it, it could be a number of things. The point being, we should, for safety reasons, get this back in place. And it is pretty heavy, so they do have to get some machinery out there to like put it back. in
If
place.
Bobby can do it with his bare hands,
No,
can we just pay?
no. Bobby does not have insurance, and the insurance doesn't have
I think it's $2
Bobby.
million insurance.
I mean, the district doesn't have insurance to cover Bobby in this activity, so
When you throw out your back.
I
So
don't want to hear it.
I would
Yeah,
recommend,
you know what, I'm sitting around here, so.
$400.
Steadfast in the amount of $400 to.
all right. Second. I had a motion from Supervisor Boyd Star, a second from Supervisor Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Bear with me. All right. Moving on, we have, behind tab 12, you have, consideration of solar lighting proposals. I believe this is something that the board has been discussing and reviewing. Please take a minute to review those three proposals, and when Joe gets back, he can make some
So is the quote
recommendations.
rate on the side?
I'll buy that.
Yeah, we're doing the solar lights.
I'd like to throw something else in there, which we can to lighting at the front gate and our monumentation, is that the lighting at the gatehouse itself, at night, it's dark. It's dark right there, but like, I couldn't even,
We don't, the gatehouse,
the
like,
gatehouse, it's like I'm
the
coming.
gatehouse coming in.
So
even coming in, it's
one
dark.
light there that was currently put in by maintenance probably about 8 months ago. That one light illuminates that whole area. Unfortunately, at the time, we had asked for different lighting solutions. That was the only one used to limit power at the gatehouse. So they were afraid that if we put more lights, then we would have to increase the electricity capacity of the gatehouse.
But this one right here is just for the sign. So
That's, this solar one for the
the sign,
sign.
okay, so there's two issues here. This, can we stay on the first one, because I want to wrap up. But if we need something for the second one, signs or lights over the front, that's fine as well. I love that. So on this one,
It looked like a Christmas tree.
yeah, bright as can be, right? What would you recommend on this one for the front, the sign by the 7-Eleven?
Yeah, so your current vendor, TPG, they work with HOA, and do all the deer lighting for Christmas and stuff. They submitted their proposal, it's actually the third one. I asked them specifically to make sure that these were commercial grade and that they would be like pure illumination to what you have at the front in terms of signing, or in terms of lights that you could see better. They came in at, what did they come at? It was
25.
24.
What I will tell you is between all three vendors, the very first, which is Same Electric, it's the exact same product. They both recommend the exact same lights, but they come in approximately $400 cheaper.
So I hate to ask this question, especially in the record, but how easy are these things to go up there without the ground steel?
Probably really easy. Well, I mean, can we dig in and put like some cement and then,
So that's, yeah, so they kind of bolt and fix, so they're gonna dig a hole where it basically puts some sort of, not wood, but they'll put,
And then you have to go like a cement can.
yeah, I'll put like I don't know what it's called, it's just a large kind of block down and they.
Right.
And they put them in there, that's for a number of things, so
So
that's.
even with that block, they're not, that block is.
You're not, vandalism is
I'm
always,
saying, it's the that problem, but where it is,
that's right, yeah,
if at 7-Eleven, and I don't want to be out $25 every, 3 months because someone went out there and said, we ripped their sign off the ground because we see their signs. And they hopefully say, screw you, I'm gonna kick this thing in, or I'm just gonna steal all together. So I mean,
I mean, there's a light there now, so someone could have stolen that one.
that was up.
Yeah, but we've got cars right there, I mean.
No, this is at 7-Eleven.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
The point, do we need more than one? Because it is kind of a rounded sign.
We also talked about matching it to how illuminated the front is and making it visible. They did say that they would recommend having two,
Okay.
because otherwise, it's gonna be pretty dim. We did go back to 7-Eleven and corporate, try to talk to them in terms of like, hey guys, we get back in on you guys, turning the power back on, that was a non-starter. And then Duke said because we've been full for their meter, we have to build in our own meter. They're gonna have to run a separate line, it's extremely cost prohibitive, so that's why we kind of went down the solar path. And they all recommended, more than one for the loans that we were requesting.
Got it.
I'm gonna refer to you guys.
So,
This is stuff, yeah.
so, if we can put a solar powered light there, could we not put solar powered camera there? So if somebody does come out there and try to yank the light up, at least we know.
We have Wi-Fi.
Probably something like trail.
Yeah, that's right. If it's not Wi-Fi enabled,
Maybe 5.
then somebody can take the camera with the light and we have nothing.
They do have donate cameras, believe it or not, where it'll, you know, announce and say, hey, you're being recorded. Some boards have actually used that. Yeah,
So, yeah.
they deter, you know, the traffic, but keep in mind, there is a possibility that you will incur a maintenance cost for vandalism. That's a reality.
So the only concern I had on this one was there's some huge trees right behind the sign and the sun goes across the sky, kind of behind the trees. So would the solar panel be out of the sun because it would be in the shade for a lot of the day? Or could we trim those trees or bring them down or like lower? I don't know, but I would think, so one, I do think we need more than one light. If we've got a sign, it's great to light it up. Anyone coming by would see it as they're going through and I'd want them to see our name. So I'd probably look at 2 lights pointing in versus 1. The body's concerned, man, it's a nice little solar panel looking thing right there that people are walking right by the sidewalk and it is 7-Eleven. I think, what's this? Boom, boom. Hey, I got a solar panel. So we might lose it. Also, if there's an accident or someone goes up on that curb, this is the first thing that's going down.
Can we place it high? Can we do some sort of pole installation so that it's up higher, that somebody would actually have to get a ladder and shimmy up that pole to get it?
Probably need a revised proposal with an invested height.
I think sets the time, so I guess you get to list somewhere next month.
Yes.
This is it, I mean, thinking of the new tab.
Do you want to bring this back next month or do you want to leave this on pause and when you're ready, you?
Yeah,
Bring it back.
Okay.
Is that okay?
If you have additional asks or anything, just email them to me and I
Okay.
can get additional proposals on site to say, maybe these are mounted, this is what some, I can ask them if there are additional security features maybe that they offer to see.
I think our concerns are,
Oh, so it wouldn't be more.
our concerns are, yeah, we're putting $5,000 on the ground, the moment it's gone, we're like, oh, shoot. Do we put them higher? Do we need 2? Will they actually charge with the trees right there? So you can put them in and there's no light, or very little light because the batteries are full. So those are the things I think we just need to look at.
If we do put them on poles and put them high up, then we could go above the tree line, so that would.
As long as it has enough lumens to reach the targeted area, yeah, that's possible, but we'll do some light work and get you some more options, okay? Any other comments or concerns hearing none?
Thank you for putting those together.
Moving on to your public consideration of pool service proposals under separate cover. So I've been working with the general manager, we've had 2.
That's what I know.
It's under well, you don't have a proposal from the vet. So we reached out to 2 pool companies. I've been working with Resort Pool Services. I actually have them on all of my pools, 4 pools to be exact in this area. Great company, great pricing. Owner of the company, Simon, they specialize in maintenance. So I know we've been having some issues with the cleanliness of the pool, the tiles. I've been working with Supervisor Heim.
And printed in the package provided to us.
Pool, Resort Pool Services did not,
Sale proposal, what?
that was the
That's
flooring.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So right now, with your current expenses for pool services, you are coming in, this includes your maintenance and your, chemicals with fees. You're averaging about $7,800 monthly on your pool. Again, working with Supervisor Heim, over the clubhouse, there has been some expression that the current pool vendor may be lacking in attention to the cleanliness. The tiles, if I'm looking out right now, are a little dirty. So, you know, this warranted is some conversation and consideration of services. So you figure current $7,800, you spend roughly $93,600 a year. Resort pools is coming in at. So 93 versus 108. They would, so you would, if you moved in this direction, obviously council put together a formal agreement on behalf of the CDD with the vendor and a legitimate proposal. They would be doing everything in-house. They have their subcontractors, but they would be doing your repairs. So Steve's, who handles your repairs and chemicals, the pool vendor would be handling that. They would also be handling the maintenance aspect of it. So, you're
Well, we went with them, they got to come in, clean those tiles, all that pool maintenance is currently in your words lacking, which I do see some dirty tiles out there, but they're also 18 years old, so that's actually very well, they could come in, scrub those tiles, and they may not be able to scrub those tiles, I mean, they're 18. They might be older than 18 years old, I forget when the pool was installed. But realistically, I mean, some of it's a fault for lack of maintenance, and in the past, we as a board have, not always voted to take care of our pool, or seal our pool, or power wash the tiles due to financial constraints of previous board meetings. But it's definitely something we can look at and explore a little bit more as far as what we can actually revitalize and make new again, I guess basically what I'm saying.
I don't know if you're up for resurfacing. I'm not sure when the last time you resurfaced your pool. The tiles are usually included.
I know our complaints that came from the spa, that the spa is disgusting and the floor is rough. I did speak to maintenance about that,
Okay.
and they did tell me that the spa would recommend that being resurfaced. However, in the past, we've told them that we don't have the money, and that was, I believe, 2 years ago when they brought that up. So it has been brought up by multiple different maintenance managers.
Good, yeah.
Maintenance technicians that spa doesn't need attention.
Yeah, and just to touch on that briefly, I mean, from my experience with pools and doing a couple of resurfaces, you do have a pretty large pool. I would anticipate when you're ready to resurface, you're probably gonna be spending somewhere close to 200,000. That's not including the lazy river. So that's usually a cost that you would, account for in your budget annually, like 30,000 to slowly build up. The problem is if you've never resurfaced your pool, it could be a health concern in the future, but not gonna get ahead of ourselves. The point being, what you're considering right now is, do we wanna, consider a new direction?
I'd like to table this till next month too, so we actually can look at the proposal in person, where now we have no information for us, that we can explain to us, so I'd rather table this, have the factual information in the pamphlet for the community to look at, and get some input from the community, and board members to actually be able to review the documents that my actual boss.
And if you can do some research and see if we do have a date, because the pool is probably 20 years old now, see if it ever has been resurfaced.
Yep, understood.
I've been here
How long have you been here?
since 21.
2021, so that's not that long. But it could have been done in 2020.
But I have prior council's records from that transition, so I'll look through those to see
Yeah.
if there's anything in what prior council gave us when we came on board.
If you could, let's find out how long it's been and what's, what we should be doing. Did you have?
Yeah, so I was, it's, I had to, sign, with some authority from Bunch, and we also, your current, so Randy on this as well, because obviously he has a bit, knowledge of the history, and then that previously spoke on Barry and I, to our knowledge, it's never been resurfaced, and each one of the vendors that we met with, including Simon, said, at max year to year, before you need to resurface, and that's not just the pool, it's the lazy river, it's the, it's the spot.
Do we not have a reserve? I thought we had a reserve.
You have a
study.
capital overlay
We
for,
had a reserve study that got done in the past year or so.
I don't think it was.
this is what you've been budgeting for your reserve study. So it's a very low amount. You do have this. So I would say that safely, I don't know if we've carried surplus year over year. That's the only thing I'm waiting on the updated financials on. But I would say safely, you do have this capital improvement on both years. And, that's something that we might be able to tap into if we could extend a year. But to Supervisor Gosard's point, I agree. Let's get some formal proposals. Just want to get this into your minds. This is the discussion that we're working with the liaison on behalf of the clubhouse. So we'll have some, hopefully 2 proposals that Joe and I are looking at. Okay?
I don't want to, I know this is, we're coming to the end of the road here. I just want to make sure that we don't skip over lighting up that lighthouse.
We don't have a proposal for that right now.
No, but I want to make.
So
sure
can we
that-
direct Joe to get, I'll work with Joe this week if he has available time. To go up there, I'll take some pictures tonight when I go up there, so you can see, I'll take a video for you, as long as traffic safe to do so, and it's not busy up there. I'll send you a video, I understand what my fellow supervisor is saying, it's very dark coming off the street. You just keep the picture on the lights, however, it's still dark up there, and there's the lights play factor and other security mechanisms that you know, I'm not gonna say on the record.
Yeah.
We will work on that. Good, thank you. Good comments. Anything else on pool service? Joe, anything from your side? Good?
No,
Okay. All right, moving on to consideration of painting proposal. That is also under separate cover. You do have a printout of this one for HP Home Solutions. So working on a couple of the enhancement projects. That's it right there.
Yeah.
So working on a couple of enhancement projects with Supervisor Hyam. The stairs for the slide are in some need of some tender love and care. The vendor has proposed for $2,500 to do some specific painting. This painting I verified, it is chemical resistant, it is.
I want to approve the full step.
Very good. Motion from Supervisor Boissard,
Second.
second from Supervisor Mert, all in favor?
Aye.
I oppose, motion carries, bear with me. Huge. Approved, all right. Okay, and then last item on the agenda, keep it nice and quick for you. So the parking service proposal, keep this brief. The initial thought process is this. This is supposed to somewhat offset our security needs. For instance, if we are utilizing security personnel to direct parking, there may be an opportunity where you can offset that labor cost with a parking service. And to the resident's point, you know, this was a high amount. What are we proposing here? So the company gives you a breakdown. They give you an hourly, and they give you based on the conversation that
Before
we.
you too much into this, just your time, I mean, anybody who's supervised and interested in hearing this.
I don't know where they park.
Right. Still not living with all this for a half hour, this, the community already been vocal that they're not interested. I'm personally the supervisor that liaison with this, and get the meeting with the gentleman. I'm not interested in it. I don't know if they
I
are.
don't know where we put the cars.
Right, and if you would like, it's gonna take me less than 5 minutes. I can give you an overview of what you're actually looking at and what you'll actually be
Can
considering.
we do it in half that time, real quick, meet in the middle?
2.5 minutes?
Do it.
Correct, keep me in there. All right, so tell me. So your hourly rate is $28. You can propose an adjustment to the hours that they have laid out because as I have learned, not every day is gonna be busy. So you can choose these services, for instance, on a 4-day basis, Thursday through Sunday, because that's probably your hot hours. You could do the hours from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It'd be 16 hours daily, 64 hours weekly. You're looking at a grand total from the proposal, which was 200,000 roughly. Your annual expense would be roughly 93,000. Now, the idea is that you would offset this with the security in order to somewhat split the cost, not add the cost. And then I can speak from personal experience on parking operations. I've seen your concerns. I see the issue. I worked 7 years in hospitality. I've driven thousands of cars through a very small drive. If you moved in this direction, these are experts who can direct traffic, not only help on the amenity side with the reviews because you get the full service, hand behind the back, welcome to Solterra, this is what we do, we give them directions on site. Again, this is an extension of staff. And then the parking, I will tell you, if you go to any restaurant on International Drive, this is the company that is on, you know, Fuego de Chao and all those guys. there is a way where you're gonna maximize 30 to 40 spots in here. They shoot cars, somebody brought up fire regulations, just like hotels. If they need to move any vehicles, all keys that are essentially valeted would be held with the personnel and they can move those cars.
That's the question. You know, with most times when there's valet, there's like a set place that everyone's going to, and then there's a parking lot next to it. We don't have any parking lots and everyone wants to come here. So I'm just not sure how we would valet in and out of that when it's full most days, like there's nowhere else to go.
They,
Would someone drive up and then we'd valet their car somewhere else, and then when they left the floor, when they got home, would we valet it there? I don't see the tangible connection on how this would work when there's people at their homes, like, I don't think this reduces front gate congestion at all.
so the idea is the valet isn't even what you're really looking into. It's the parking facilitation. It's moving your entire drive operation. You would open the gate, obviously security would check in. They even have ticketing systems that they'd be able to put on the cars, and then you would direct everybody to run the operation out of the roundabout. That way you eliminate the congestion at the front and you're running your drive operation through the guardhouse. And that, the thought is, if I'm a resident, I'm not getting stopped at the gate behind 30 people. I already made it into the community. I can make my left or right or go straight, but everybody else is being directed to the front drive where the operation operates out of. And then if you'd like to consider valet services, that's actually an additional option where they could store keys and offer the thought process for valet. Because somebody made a comment, if I'm a guest and my house is a mile away, I have to either walk or try to fight for parking. Well, now you might be able to offer that, or that guest the opportunity to actually come and valet their vehicle.
Yeah, again, if the valet took it down the street and parked it around the corner, it would be towed.
They would utilize the parking lot. We're not trying to valet throughout the community.
I don't see it working.
It's not the valet that you would be purchasing, it's the congestion at the front that we're trying to alleviate. That's
Maybe, 5 years from now, when we're able to turn this all around, but right now, our homeowners are having a difficult time getting $300 a night at Christmas for an entire house. This clientele is not, are we gonna pay for extra for valet kind of client? So maybe in time it will be, we can go in and fill those shoes. But for right now, I think we have to get that
Core
hours. Right, we have to bring everything up to that level to get that clientele into the community. And we can do that by easing up the front gate, by zhuzhing everything up and making everything look really good here, providing, like pickleball clinics and yoga classes and things like that that are very low cost. And in the interim, if we want to provide a real service to eliminate parking issues here in the clubhouse and having people jockeying their cars around all the time, maybe we can revisit the shuttle.
Yeah, we got that.
And getting people to and from the pool,
Sure.
from the homes that they're in. Somebody else had brought up through some of the emails that I'd like to quickly mention, talking about seeing if we can get an outside shuttle company, an outside shuttle vendor to provide shuttles to the theme parks.
NASA.
I think that is a really great idea. Because again, the less we have people driving around the community, the less issues people have with coming home from the parks and then trying to find that parking space, that guest parking space.
At this point, I would want to echo Bobby. I think this one is going to be a hold for now, unless you keep moving forward.
totally okay.
Yeah.
Just presentation, we discussed, wanted to bring it to the board.
How you versus,
That's right.
we're not gonna be able to pass and everything. We need a security process with passes, or that frontier system, when I got start giving 25 different people access from passes that whatever. It just, no.
No, I totally, listen, just wanted to present as an option, the board reviewed it, I appreciate the feedback. Do we want to seek this third-party shuttle service? Is that something?
We've got proposals for
Okay.
shuttles, that'll probably come with that.
All right,
Those that we're working on, we've got quotes.
so we'll look at that for the future. Okay.
Ideas.
Of course.
Because, some of the ideas are, coming from you, some of the ideas coming from Joe and board members and homeowners and, the more ideas we have a lot of things we gotta solve.
Joe, to touch on that, we have quotes for actual shuttles to buy, and I have here, some of the other people expressed interest in maybe having another company that would assume the liability if something bad were to happen, and can take out our plane. So is there, before we put that all together into proposal, I don't know if there is a company that operates shuttles and said, hey, we're just drive up and down all day and get people in or on the weekends or something, but that's what some of the other homeowners have mentioned they want to see as an option, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's more like some that's through, because I read some have an interest in the big shuttles that are outbound, they just park, anything else that are.
Yeah, oh, that's right, that's right.
And some are obviously.
In
We could look to do that. I did, so the question, now the appropriate, in terms of procurement, we've kind of talked about, maybe insurance and the next, and not very good. I don't have clear answers for, on that, do we know?
This is for the furniture? Oh, Meredith.
Just because it applies to so many things. So did we ever get the position on procurement? So if, for example, we kind of talked about if there was something like shuttles that we wanted to purchase from China, what's the thought on that? Because, our decision could potentially buy.
Right? And then we're gonna lose quorum really quick, and Joe and I can talk about that, and then we'll have the
So we'll
answer.
reset the fund.
Take a recess?
Yeah.
All right,
The answer is what.
recess at 1:59. We will be right I'm back. Good afternoon, everybody. We have returned to 10 PM from recess. We've already discussed the, parking proposals. It will be tabled. Moving on to supervisor requests. Anything, from the supervisors that you would like to make an additional comment or request?
I would like to review the pool.
Okay.
Because I feel as a father and a user of this facility, one of those people that we have have stimulated and been extremely strict on pool rules as far as usage, what people can and can't do, what they can bring. And it's like that whistle that's blowing out there right now, I don't know why it's blowing. But at the time, I feel as if we really taken the fun out of the main there on that pool. So I would like to revisit, I haven't had any specific ideas at the moment, but I would like to revisit our main rules and the pool rules and pool usage and stuff, what is acceptable and what's not.
We can put the amenity policy that you all adopted in July on the agenda as an open discussion item. But if you have specific questions or thoughts between now and then, staff would appreciate a heads up. That way we come with answers instead of receiving questions and then kicking the can another month. So.
What would you say would be the biggest issues so far?
Well, I mean,
Taking away the fun.
just think I've been up there, if you're a father and you pick up your own kid and come on your shoulders, just have fun with your own child that's 4, 5, 6 years old. You got a whistle for them and told you can't come back.
Okay.
I mean, it's, in my opinion, that's ridiculous. I in the time train Kissimmee, I go to that pool, we don't have to much this. And there's no issue there in that pool. I've spent hundreds of hours in my pool in the last 2 years. I didn't come to this pool. This pool to me is a place to swim in a bathtub. That is the sole only thing you can do in that pool. You can't have floats in that pool. You can't have balls in that pool. You can't have any types of toys in that pool. There is zero fun for children to come here and enjoy the vacation. You're coming here on vacation and you can't toss a small water ball back and forth between you and your brother out in the pool. To me, that's disheartening as a father and someone that has 5 kids. If I go on vacation, I go on pool, I can't have zero fun with my child in the pool. I know we made those rules originally because people get hit with balls and complaints, but we can have pool staff. We now have pool staff, like, if that's happening, they can address it. But someone should be able to come here and enjoy the vacation, they pay $300-400 a night for themselves. And granted, they have a pool there, but not a pool like this, we want them to come use the main center, we want them to feel welcome, we want them to feel like they belong here and have fun. And right now, you can't, you have got the whistle ladder. We're overstaffed, we're almost like over policing the pool. To the point where it's really the government and the fun police at that point.
No, it's a good point. I think to council's point, I think if we review the rules that the Board of Supervisors has received recently, come up with any comments or suggestions, we could have a formal discussion, and then if we need to do a public hearing to amend the rules, then we could do so.
I think what I can do is, the town hall, we'll bring this up. We'll get some items on the list.
Do, and if you
Should we
get
do?
them in advance, I know that town halls are more frequently meeting than the board meeting does. If you guys don't mind individually letting us know, that way we can triage and come back with answers. Some of these rules are because of insurance, some of these rules are because this is technically a public pool administered by the state health department rules. Some of the rules, maybe they were rules, that were optional back in the day and we can have some flexibility, but if we don't have.
All stuff at the board that we were going to do,
Mhm.
that at the time, I saw value in it because of the issues we're having.
Mhm.
But we really, in the last couple of years, became, for a majority, a more family-friendly supervisory door. We don't have the free-for-all that we had in Evergreen was here, and there was 0 people watching that pool.
Yeah, I think the rules might have been fairly similar. I think the enforcement of the rules may have been different. Just for the record, we didn't really come up with a lot of pool rules specifically. If anything, I think this board relaxed the pool noodle rule, so that those individuals who may need swimming assistance or flotation devices could use a pool noodle as
I
such.
think the only rule that I recall having instituted that wasn't there before was the height restriction on the ceiling. That was the.
And that was the manufacturer and insurance requirements.
And that was reviewed with your insurance carrier. Supervisor Hyman was attached to that. They do recommend keeping that requirement.
Recommend to require.
It's, almost required,
They've told us on the phone that it won't be insurable
right?
if
Well,
we
that's
don't.
not required.
Yeah, we just need to find out who that insurer or that side manufacturer is, send them a Christmas card.
There it is.
Hey, you one fun guy. Well, tell me.
It should be fun to meet our records, because I know Jamie hunted that down
Yeah, okay.
at one point.
So let's have some talking items for the next agenda. I will discuss in the town hall and then we could consider further. All right, any other supervisor comments at this time? Hearing none, open up to, did you have some?
No.
Open up to the public, public comments at this time. Any follow-up items that you would like to see?
That I mentioned again.
You,
I know you did. I know you did.
Yeah.
just need your name and, address for the record again, please.
757 was a parking. I know what was said earlier, but there's nowhere to put on park. There was, when the local board we decided. We decided to put money into that. But the point is, the road was space here. Have we considered across the road, behind the substation, where there's just some worn out grass and done cycle?
Yeah, I had recommended that because that's a huge space back there where we could put in and, Connie at the time, and I can still, go and talk with her. So I can reach back out to her. She walked out there with the engineers.
Greg,
Who told her, no, can't do it for whatever reason. I don't recall what it was.
So maybe with
But I
the
can.
land use,
I think it was a land use issue.
everywhere we built, there has to be another area that can't be built, and it is like blocked. There isn't any place on our land plot that can be a parking lot or something extra.
We are, you know what, this all comes back, the 1A of all of this is when this project was developed. It was developed without sufficient parking,
Yeah.
without sufficient ingress and egress by state statute. We are supposed to have, for the number of homes here, 2 means of ingress and egress. And they passed it with only one. I, along with a number of homeowners, we went to Bartow, the county board of commissioners, and we said, this is your problem, you need to fix this because you're the guys who said that this, who approved it. And they said, oh, no, it's not my fault. Well, we tried to get them to provide a solution and they they went through the motions and they said, well, first of all, we're not the board that approved it. It was our previous and predecessors who approved it. So we're not responsible and we can't tell you why because we're not. And our district engineers looked at it. The district engineers said, okay, that gate, we're not going to do it. But it'll cost you $500 to do all the mitigation, the wildlife mitigation, the environmental.
Of all the solutions, I think we did the most financially responsible one, which is work with Bobby. And it's an operations issue on how do we eliminate everything that's slowing down traffic coming in from every standpoint. And we're in the tail end of that, of Bobby exploring solutions, figuring out additional tablets, additional check-in areas. We had to get Wi-Fi in. So before we went to the other ones, every time we kept back was, there is more we could do at the front. And to be honest, when we would talk with Jenny about it, she's like, yeah, it's a problem. Oh, there, like, there wasn't, she didn't care if everyone was stuck out there. And it just, a lot of stuff could never move forward. So I feel like from when Artemis took over till now and working with Bobby, man, the line is substantially better. And we've given them resources to say, what else do we need? With the space we have, can we, from an operational standpoint, improve that to as close as perfect as we can get it? And that's what Bobby's been working on.
And next year, we will be tapering it back to, working with Joe to get staff here later, like we did this year. Artemis came in the middle of summer, so you saw that change once me and Joe worked together to get staff to stay here till 9:30 to help the check-ins. So when the gate was totally swamped, we would do a check-in, send 2 of the clubhouse. So we would kind of keep that traffic flowing, and that really helped us because we had girls in here doing the check-ins. That would save us an explanation, the pamphlets, the printing. So it really helped elevate the experience. And I think next year we'll start early enough so that we see impact throughout the whole summer. And with the new technology that we're installing, we may be able to take it mobile, where we can go outside with a car, which is ideal. Be at your car. The minimum you have to do is your ID. We have your plate visible. We print your pass, give you a brochure, thing anyway.
Yeah.
So if we can do that and keep these people moving, they don't have to get out of their car and come inside.
Sure.
But there's actually parking.
Right, but they kind of go hand in hand, because the more cars we have, I think, and this may not be a popular view, but number one, having lived here for, a long amount of time now, I've seen it in the last 3 years, the improvement has been dramatic. I mean, it used to take, during high holiday season, it could take a couple of hours to get through the gate. Now, I have never, ever spent more than 15 minutes, worst possible time of year for the best, which have been from this waiting at that gate, not that big of a deal. So that's number one. And it happens at Champions Gate. It happens at the Union. It happens everywhere because there are just so many people here. And it takes time to matriculate people through the system. Number 2, parking. I know that most people, because they're trying to rent out their house and they're competing, so most renters have repurposed their garages, or people purchase their garages with games.
I'm not no renovations. Now they stand right. I know Brian has a plan.
Right, that's one answer.
That people can't. And I think, as I've had people say on a lot of times, when they rent a house, they should have my parking this.
Right.
And not claim that it's
By car.
right when there's a start wars.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I mean, we looked into paving in the little grass fringe area. That's CDD.
That's not what I mean by parking. What I mean is coming down here. So last meeting I came to, couldn't get in. So we had to go way around to one of the circles to park, and that was too late.
And that's the struggle, I think. I think that's the idea between having a little bit of
That was, I thought it was fantastic.
Right.
People.
We have it on our shoulders, we got
We're
it.
talking about putting in a
I just
shuttle.
want to show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
We were talking about putting in like a ball garden kind of shuttle, 2 years ago, right? So 2 years ago, we were shot down. Right, Meredith? About having a golf cart type of shuttle. We were told, no, we couldn't do it.
Low speed vehicle,
Slow.
yeah, low speed vehicle is okay, but a golf cart is not.
Right, the slow speed vehicle that was provided by the community to shuttle people around from their houses here to the front of the clubhouse. And for whatever reason,
It was,
if you want us to do it, we feel best to put it in their proposal.
Yeah.
Last time around, suddenly they had this brilliant idea. And so here we are at the square one, but you know what? I think that addresses the problem, and who wouldn't do that? And, the other thing that I want to address, speaking to your idea of clubhouse being prohibitive as opposed to something that's links to hospitality and service. We get these lightning things and people have to go back home and we're telling them, oh, you can't come into the clubhouse, you can't be out by the pool,
Yeah.
you can't be on premises. So now where it's not safe to be outside here, now you have to walk home all the way to the back of the community
Yeah.
in the lightning, thunder, rainstorm, havoc, and you're out at risk.
And even this, it's only stay out of the water.
Right, right. So we have to find some way of saying, you know what? Maybe we can, until you can get home, maybe we can hang out in here, but we'll find a way around, and I don't know how we can do that. But, just to make it so that people can be undercover in a safe place until the shuttle can come and get them to bring them back.
Yeah, this week, still, set under an umbrella.
Right.
Don't have too many seconds.
Point being, we're working on some things, so definitely look out. You have a very engaged board, and I'm very confident over the next year, we should have some solutions to some of these things, which you've already seen some progression. Any other public comments?
Oversee 7575 Old Moss. Came back from my 2 months in Michigan. Started jumping back into the community, started meeting some new people who are showing up in the gym and meeting some people at the club out for the cafe. I've gotten a strange amount of people coming to me going, who is that guy? Why does he work here? He's so rude. Who is that woman? Why does she work here? She's so rude. Why are they blowing whistles at me? This wasn't happening when I left in June,
Oh.
when I came to the gym.
Well,
It
it's
probably was going on.
hospitality.
But out of the blue now, I'm getting a lot more. They're coming to me because they know I'm on focus.
I'm not.
So, I don't know if it's one person, 2 people, but I'm getting reports. And I'm not soliciting them, there are people coming to me. So
I think you actually, people say, it's anonymous, if they want to be anonymous, they can call in or.
Why would they be?
Most of them go for Joe.
To the board or
Well,
to Joe?
most of them are full-time renters. They don't own a home, they're living here long-term renting. So they're not in any of the communities, they don't know the CDD thing, they're confused by how this place functions. They look at me, I live here, they see me all the time, so they're asking me, and I can tell them exactly what's going on, who's doing what. So that's why I think I'm having this conversation.
If you want to provide them my contact, my cell phone number, or they can text, call me, and I'm more than happy to talk to them. I have some like same concerns with the whistleblowing and the limited ability of doing stuff with the pool. So I do feel that some of that's valid, and if there is value in speaking to those people, maybe I can point them in the direction of coming to the weekend, if they want to be heard.
That's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is just to put that out there to many.
Sure.
If you could provide them directly with Joe's contact information, because if you give it to Bobby or to me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna-
Then we have to go to, I think it's best just to go directly to Joe and not from you,
Yeah,
but from them.
Sure.
You can give them Joe's contact information, so Joe can collect the information, his personnel, his staff, and he can manage, because he's the one who should be managing.
what I'd like to suggest is, look at getting some kind of staff training program in place. I don't know if you're familiar with Sanderman, Ann Arbor, Michigan, is well known for having outrageously good service. We're literally in Disney's backyard. They know how to train staff to be super friendly.
Sure.
Simple rules, when you're within 4 feet of somebody, you acknowledge them. If you're within 10 feet, you have a smile at them. You do that over and over and over. And I don't know if we have a training program in place. It's not expensive. I would love to see that. That's one of the pillars when I would try to get on board. I wanted to see some kind of training program for the staff. And then let's get rid of people who can't handle the trainers. I'm giving them.
So,
Good criticism, we do it, we're training.
Anytime, obviously, there were a few times where, despite the fact that the reviews have been overwhelming and positive the past few months, whenever we would see something, we would call in HR and our trainers and stuff and have, meetings with the group, talk about kind of, mindfulness and speaking to people and how we kind of engage with one another. And but again, always happy to continue.
Is it like a training brochure or is it a video they watch? What is it? They sit down for a day?
Well, again, so because most of the staff have been here for a pretty lengthy period of time, there are only maybe two that are fairly new. It's largely staff, training staff, and then of course we come in with how Arvis does things and then kind of impress upon that. So that's when HR got them, obviously, and kind of went through a training session. But if you're talking something more formalized, and that's certainly something we can look at, you know, to kind of sit down and say, look, this is kind of the culture we're building, and if you're with it, you're with it, and if you're not, you're not, and that's fine.
Is that something maybe if that were to start to happen? I know there's a ton of stuff on the plate, but if that were to happen, then you could just, you know, run it by Albert and say, here's some ideas, or you said Zimmerman is one, would be like, we can start to look at what.
It would be super easy for me to know whether or not they've been trained.
Yeah.
So if I'm here to hear and you don't smile at me, they haven't been trained, they're not following the training. If I'm here to hear and they don't say, hi, how are you? They haven't been trained.
Probably should tell you that, hello.
How far away are they, the distance, when you go to whistle at them?
Yeah, well, we should never blow this. That is so rude. That's so like antisocial. Beep, or whatever they got going. Get up, walk over there, get within 10 feet, you smile. You get within 5 feet, you go, hi, sir. You're not supposed to do that. That's customer service. Blowing a whistle, it's just like treating them like an animal.
I remember school, you're at recess, and get punished by the principal, and you get for the whistle program.
Well, good criticism. I think staff will take it and run with it. See, you know, maybe have a circle up with the team, just create some regular policies, and then let's continue to work on ultimately the culture that we're trying to establish. It was your.
So, like, you know, we prior, Joe has started to work on getting an email back in place to start sending out a monthly email newsletter. That's something he's working on. He just recently gained access to that system, right?
Yeah, it's constant contact, you know, he's got a sense of awareness.
Hopefully within this, probably another month, we'll see that roll out.
Yeah, I'll do sooner, and then I'll send it over what we have, you know, to everybody and see if we're thumbs up on it, and yeah.
But then people don't feel bad because they don't know who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, up to the easy.
Are we gonna get a report from the cafe manager? She'd like to know if not, she has some other stuff to attend to. Did we want to hear from the cafe management as far as?
We are about to go into our shade session, so it sounds like all public comments are good. The board is gonna be taking a motion of shade sessions at that time. Inviting, thank you so much.
Thanks for the road.
Have a great day. All right, looking for a motion to open your shade session.
Motion to go
Ready?
in shade session.
All right, I have a motion from Supervisor Mert.
Second.
I have a second from Supervisor Boissard. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed, motion carries. Bear with me. So, everybody on the call, we will be entering a shade session. We will come back on the call when we exit the shade session.
Yeah, no, stop trying to be rude. Are you kidding me? I'm obviously behind this, and I'm trying to get around them, and you're like coming up on my butt like nothing. Yeah, I don't. Because Caprelli, right? So, the black is driving. Yeah. So, ah! Got Brian and Trish and Debbie. They're all together. Got Albert. I don't know who Diane. We're gonna go on. No, like, I don't know. It's fine. I think she thinks it's idea. It's cute, but it's not. It's not an artist, but good. Too far out. No, that was too far out. try this again. Jump there.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are resuming the public meeting at 3:20 PM. Resume. 3:20. Board members, anything else before we take a motion of adjournment? Hearing none, the,
To adjourn the regular meeting.
all right, have a motion from Supervisor Boissard. So,
Second.
Second from Supervisor Mert, all in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. This meeting is adjourned at 3:21 PM. Thank you, everybody on the call.
Can you send me the dates for the committee meeting?